There exists a fraction of humanity, an element of humanity that are associated with the deep state, the Illuminati, dark cabal, and what is known as the gray agenda, the reptilian gray agenda. And those elements of the United States government and the world government that have been in league with this reptilian gray agenda. And to illustrate the gravity and the seriousness of my point, to impress upon you, my dear and most esteemed and noble viewer, I'm going to refer to the realms of art. And Guillermo del Toro, his fantastic series, The Strain, I'm going to share just a snippet from that because it is quite symbolic of the reality of the contamination and what takes place within those humans on this planet that have become part of this agenda, the DNA genetic contamination that exists. And I'm talking about actual hybrid DNA, hybrid human gray species that exist on this planet. And I'm going to discuss their fate. But before I do that, I want to just kind of share this bit from The Strain. And this is a very, Guillermo del Toro, the director and the creator of this series, among many other great works of film and art, there's interviews you can see where he's, seen UFOs and stuff. So this is highly symbolic. I believe that this is his artful comment on the reality of what we are facing on this planet. So I share this.
Throughout my life, learn what it feels to cross a line. That line, it has been crossed now.
That line has been crossed by those who are in alliance with the reptilian gray.
Oh my God. Every passenger.
They're all dead. No signs of trauma.
What is this?
I've seen this disease before. All the passengers dead and alive. It must be destroyed.
The Strain premieres Sunday, July 13th. It's here. Only on FX.
The end of our world is the beginning of theirs. Now, admittedly, I myself am still investigating and putting together the narrative of what I think future events may portend, which the future may hold. But I am privy to knowledge that the Anunnaki, the positive factions of the Anunnaki, will be returning to this planet this year. I'm not going to talk about the exact dates right now. I will with a later video. But I think when they do return, the Munchers are going to go boom, boom. And who are the Munchers? Well, it's a cute little phrase I'm borrowing from the Strain, the series The Strain, in reference to the rats initially, but the Munchers became the vampires in the Strain. But essentially, the Anunnaki forces that will be returning, not the negative Anunnaki, which I believe Enki is who is responsible for the engineered, you know, the engineered COVID crisis, and that is a negative Anunnaki who is in alliance and works with the reptilian gray hybrid forces who are in alliance with the deep state Illuminati. But the positive Anunnaki, those forces are returning to this planet, and they're returning this year, and they are going, it is their intention to clean house. Okay? It is their knowledge that humanity is so, the aspects, that portions of humanity, not all of humanity, but there are elements of humanity that are so utterly contaminated with reptilian gray ideology, with reptilian gray genetics, DNA, so utterly contaminated that only drastic measures can apply. And what does that mean? Well, when you understand that the reptilian gray alliance, deep state, has dug in, made their bases, they've lived underwater, deep underground military bases, but that's all been being cleaned up. But I believe that there is going to be a final confrontation this year where it will be a very overt display of a confrontation between the positive Anunnaki and those elements of the Anunnaki from the various different star systems, but primarily the reptilian gray hybrid alliance, hybrid human alliance that are in alliance with those forces. But the Greys' DNA have created greed, violence, and unbelievable cruelty within human nature. That is the outcome of the intermingling, the Greys' decades of abduction, abduction, human abduction, the cattle mutilations, all that were experimentations to prolong their lives because they had stopped procreating because of their, either through their machine alliance or machine artificial intelligence hive mind alliance with all that. But the original characteristics that the Anunnaki, those who did genetically alter humans according to the divine covenant, the Emerald Covenant, but the characteristics that they engineered in our DNA were, it wasn't the violence and all that wasn't part of what they originally created within our DNA. They intended to create humans in their image, the positive Anunnaki, which I believe who Enlil represents, of those positive Anunnaki who we can identify. But suffice to say that I do believe that the positive forces of the Anunnaki, and keep in mind it's not specific to one star system, but talking about positive Anunnaki, those who from heaven to earth came, from the Pleiades, the Sirius, all the alliance, confederation of Christed extraterrestrials are coming back, and they're going to clean house. That's the only way I can put it. And they're going to clean house based on humanity that's divided into three groups based on their level of contamination. Okay? Yes, humanity can be divided into three groups regarding their level of contamination. And the first group is those who exhibit heavy gray, reptilian gray DNA contamination. They include those who torture or support torture by others for any purpose whatsoever. Those include murderers, unless in self-defense, which sometimes occurs in situations such as domestic abuse by a contaminated spouse with, gray reptilian contamination, any rapists, child molesters, child abusers, anyone who has abused senior citizens, spouse abusers, those who commit violent robberies, illicit drug manufacturers, distributors, and pushers, those who engage in enslaving women, girls, and young boys in prostitution rings, criminals who use their form of religion as an excuse for their heinous crimes. This includes all religious fanatics and extremists, such as suicide bombers and these people. Those who destroy lives by depriving them of ways to support themselves for their own greed. This includes the top echelon of corporate executives who've lost any sense of humanity in their treatment of thousands of people and feel that this behavior is just strictly business. You know who you are. Elected officials who have sold out for power and greed and who are willing to destroy their own countries to aggrandize themselves, to boost themselves. Elected officials who are willingly participating in destroying the ecology of the planet because of their close association with oil corporations and other forms of commercial energy producing countries and their corrupt rulers. Any politician, military personnel, or anyone else who is engaging in trade with the Greys, allowing them to continue the atrocities in exchange for technical and military knowledge. Knowledge. Now that's just regular knowledge, not the Vasamazulu Baba Credo Mutuan knowledge. Lawyers and judges who play games at the legal expense for their gain, sending child molesters, murderers, and other violent offenders back into society, ready to prey again on the innocent, all in the name of reasonable doubt. You know a lawyer, most of them will rape a snake on a Bible. They're filth. Those who destroy lives and reputations by identity theft. And here's one dear to me and I agree with. Those who torment animals. These include not only people who hurt and mutilate animals for their own sick pleasure, but also those who support dog fights, cockfights, and bullfights, those who beat their horses, donkeys, or dogs, those who legally mutilate cats by removing their claws or hurting their vocal cords, owners of puppy mills who force female dogs to reproduce by animal rape, and those who abandon their animals or chain them indefinitely, sometimes allowing them to die by such neglect. Prostitutes, extremely dangerous people. I don't believe there's much chance of reforming recalcitrant, multiple offending murderers and people who use violence routinely. People who engage in such practices are doomed. As far as we are concerned, they are pure evil. But anyway, that's the most extreme group. The second group, and it goes down, in by series of lesser serious, offenses, but people like the second group involves people who believe that discipline requires physical punishment in children or adults, that type of medieval type of thinking. Middle echelon executives who only take orders from their superiors as their corporations are destroying the economy of their own countries. Those who in the name of fashion and beauty have hurt countless young girls who have succumbed to eating disorders. But anyway, basically anyone that's involved whatever aspect in this Illuminati, dark cabal, this transgenderism, where they've been preying on already young boys and girls who are already struggling with their identity as a natural coming of age in an industrial technological society that is no longer provides any rites of passage for young people, but this sick, satanic, new world, deep state, dark cabal agenda that is thrusting transgenderism and sexuality over, just ponderance and focus on all this twisted sexuality, lower chakra energies. But all of those involved in that are soon to be dealt with. And I'm talking about a very dramatic and a very overt, obvious dealing with. And I'm telling you, I know when the date is when the positive forces of the Anunnaki, those from heaven to earth came, are confronting this cabal, and it's the whole entire reptilian gray alliance and those humans that are contaminated by that. So hit the subscribe button, leave this video a thumbs up, stay tuned. I got more information coming along, but man, get your house in order. Namaste, namaskaram.